Hi, I'm John Robert Sutton. I travel the globe searching for unique foods that have been shared by generations of families, culture, and tradition. I will connect you to the stories behind well-sourced food and the people and places who make it happen. Welcome to Truth in Food. And today is going to be a fascinating subject because it relates to food, but it's really relating to your body and the medical situation that we're in here, I think not only in the United States, but medical treatment around the world. You know, my whole life I've traveled to most countries around the world. I've tasted foods of many different places and cultures. And there's so many things that you can pick up that you don't realize that's out there. Foods that are hazardous to your health, foods that can damage your liver, that can cause hepatitis, things you eat that are make your cholesterol are out of control, fried foods, things like this. And so I always wanted to know what was my body like. You know, I've never been tested for hepatitis. I really didn't know what my cholesterol levels were. I didn't know if something was even lodged in my stomach or in my intestinal tract that has just never left. I mean, you hear many, many stories like this. So I go to my doctor here and I say, hey, what type of really complete physical can I get? And it's like, well, we can do some blood tests and we can do a few things here. But it's gonna take a month of going to different doctors and going to different people. And it's going to cost about $12,000. I'm like, geez, but I really don't have time for that. Some of the stuff is really procedures that would be deemed more along the line of a cosmetic procedure rather than a procedure that actually could benefit you in the long run. So, you know, over the years, I've been asking a lot of friends and people about medical checkups and health, and realizing that most of us really do not get a comprehensive test. We just don't really get a comprehensive idea of how our body is functioning, because think about it, so much of how our body operates is what we eat. You know, you're going to have higher cholesterol because of eating too much fried foods. You're going to be overweight by eating enormous amounts of carbohydrates. Like, really, what is my body telling me? And I want to know, but the tests that are available out there are not tests that are given at a regular basis, and we really do not understand. So what I did was, during the course of searching around the world, I found something extraordinary. I found a facility that is state-of-the-art in Bangkok, Thailand, that will do a series of the most comprehensive tests that you could ever imagine at a price that is really doesn't make sense. And when I'm going to go through all the tests that they do, and really what happens at this hospital, which is state-of-the-art, first of all, it's the quality of the care. It's walking into this facility in Bangkok, Thailand, that is literally like going into the Peninsula Hotel. The lobby and the fountains and the plants just abound in this place. And I did this through a friend who worked at the Tulane Hospital, and was very, very knowledgeable about medical conditions and about endocrinology and all these things that take place in your body. And after New Orleans, he had moved to Las Vegas, and then he retired and now lives in Bangkok. And so through his medical care that he's received at this hospital, he was calling me up telling me, you must go, you must go. And upon arrival, when I had my comprehensive test, I received a list of things that they will do. And it's so comprehensive from all the blood tests they do. So they first told me to fast for 12 hours, which I did. And then they took a series of 5 vials of blood. And the reason they did that is the comprehensive blood tests they give for blood sugars and all the lipid profiles, your cholesterol levels, all your uric acids, your kidney function panels, creatine, the liver function panels, which is a list of the alkalines, the total, all these different tests, the protein, the gamma tests, it's just for your livers, a thyroid panel, which is incredibly helpful, a hepatitis screening, which is very important for me because, you know, I'm around different cultures from around the world. I've been in jungles of Africa. I've been in so many disease-ridden places. I wanted to know if I had any type of hepatitis. Tumor markers, you know, from eating different types of food and being in environments. Do I have tumors anywhere in my body? Everything for GI cancers, for liver cancer, PSAs for prostate cancers, a vitamin test, the electrolytes, calcium, a urine examination, the stool examination, the electrocardiogram, the exercise stress test, the EST, chest x-rays, ultrasound, my entire abdomen, digital mammogram with ultrasound, all of this stuff. So what happened here was so remarkable because normally in the U.S., you go and over a course of several days, you get these tests and you wonder what's happening. You know, you wonder what type of situation is going on. And upon having my EKG and my stress tests, I was wondering, geez, what type of doctor is going to be there? And what was fascinating to me is that every single test I had, there was a professional doctor there. So as I was hooked up with 10 wires all over my body, there was a cardiologist watching every function of my heart beating, and if there was any blockage, linking it up to the electricity going through my body and the timing to see if there was anything wrong. Then I went and I had a chest x-ray. And this chest x-ray, there was an expert looking at the x-ray to see my bone structure, to look if there's any tumors, to look at the function of my breathing, to see if there was anything in my lungs. You know, I've polluted air from around the world. What maybe have I breathed in that's stuck in my lung? I mean, there's many times I've gone and I know I've swallowed something, bugs and everything. I mean, I have no idea what actually you breathe in and what's stuck. He analyzed all of that. Then I had the test that basically that women get for ultrasounds. And that test was a whole abdomen ultrasound. And there was a doctor looking at every single one of my organs, you know, my kidneys, my liver, my heart, my everything in my back with an ultrasound looking for any type of spot, any type of abnormality, and focusing in on this to see what was wrong, if there was anything going on there. Then you then have, I had this entire skin test. And this was fascinating because they put me up on a wall and took a picture of a high resolution of every single part of my body. You know, the bottom of my feet, the top of my feet, everything of my body. And then they've analyzed it with computer software to see all of the little spots and all the images that could be skin cancer. And on my face, they noticed that there were 3 spots that came out. And they looked at this and they said, these are not cancerous, but they could turn into cancer. In the United States, if they operated and they did this procedure on my face, it would be called a cosmetic procedure. They deemed it not a cosmetical procedure. They said that this basically is going to be removed so you will not get cancer. And so they surgically took lasers and they removed on my nose and on my forehead and on my side. These were bumps that, it always bothered me for many, many years. I could feel it on my face. They removed everything, and those are all gone now. Number one, I'm glad I'm not looking at that spot on my nose and on my face, but it could turn into cancer later. And knowing that that's not there anymore, it's very, very exciting that stuff is not there. So just the way our hospitals look at stuff is so different than the way Asian hospitals look at things. I mean, their entire approach is preventative medicine. They want to make sure that everything is checked and looked at and thoroughly gone over before anything turns into something worse. And so all of these tests that were done, I had a doctor, a specialist, checking every single thing along the line. And what's phenomenal is this is the medical checkup report. This is an actual report from this hospital that has every single test laid out in detail. I mean, all of the things that you can't even believe, all the blood count tests, things that are so detailed, this entire report of all of that. And then at the end, you have the cardiogram reporting, all of these tests that are done that in the United States, this would have cost between $12,000 and $15,000. And this would have taken a month to 2 months to go through and have everything analyzed. This hospital, this whole entire procedure that I've been talking about cost $750. $750 for everything. For that peace of mind, knowing what I have. And I'm great. I do not have anything that's going to give me a red flag except my cholesterol is high. Yes, I eat fried food. I'm overweight. But it's nothing that can't be solved, that I can't come back there and have all those things reduced without medicine. But I didn't know what, you don't know what you have. You don't realize what you have. And so many things, people should go in and get these tests done. And I would absolutely take a look at medicine from around the world, especially this hospital. And if you want to know what this facility is, I'm not going to say over the line because I don't know what the legality is and all of that, talking about the specific hospital. But if you want to know, you can get a hold of me at Sutton at suttonselects.com, and I'll be glad to refer you. Because if you think about the cost of getting over to Bangkok, you can plan ahead and it costs $350 round trip to fly from here to Bangkok on China Southern, which was the airline I flew on. And you can, I had a friend that I stayed at, but there are beautiful hotels with breakfast that would be, better than a lot of the Holiday Inns and stuff you see here for about $35 to $40 a night. And this test took 4 hours. Took 4 hours to do, completely with all the doctors, everything in one day. And then the next day they give you, they then all of those tests, everything are analyzed and then delivered to you the very next day. That's unheard of. It just doesn't exist in the United States. And most of these tests doctors wouldn't do here because your deductibles are so huge and high that you'd be paying $5,000 just out of those deductible costs, and no one has anything this extensive done. You're talking months and tens of thousands of dollars where you can fly to Thailand and have this thing done in 5 days. Now, the other thing is dental. So I said, geez, what about the dentistry here? And they said people are coming here in droves to have their teeth worked on. So I went in there. I went into a dental office, where even celebrities from the United States go. And they did an entire checkup on my mouth, x-rays, a full extensive cleaning. They even took off stains on my teeth. And that was $30 for about an hour and 15 minutes work. And I said, geez, they said, look, you've got an old cavity that needs to be replaced and removed. And you have two other cavities. So I had to take out a cavity, have that totally removed, and one on the front and the side. So I said, okay, go for it. They worked on me for about an hour and 45 minutes, and that bill was $121, okay? And I'm talking state-of-the-art equipment. And I asked, I always ask these doctors, well, where did you get your education? The dentists, I said, where did you get your education? UCLA Dental School here in UCLA. I asked the doctors, where did you get your education? Harvard Medical School, okay, King's College in London. Where did you get? Oh, Houston. All these doctors are educated here in the United States. So for me, it's like the medical care is as good as you're going to get anywhere in the world. They have technology that was used on me that is banned in the United States because the FDA has not let in the technology, probably because it will cause a lot of dermatologists to not charge you as much anymore, because there is so much technology out there that is monitoring and looking at your body through software and looking at things that we can't see. So imagine my body being like Mars, and you have a probe looking through every little crevice of my body that human beings can't look at. We just can't process as much as computers can today by digital imaging and scanning and catching things on your body. All of that equipment is so far advanced in Asia, but it's not here in the United States because it has to all be FDA approved. It costs millions and millions of dollars to get all of this stuff screened and approved in the United States to be used on us. And so much of that stuff doesn't want to be accepted because so many doctors won't be able to bill as much. The cost of medical care here is skyrocketed also because of the lawsuits. You look at how much money doctors have to pay in malpractice insurance and how many thick forms you have to fill out. And everybody's afraid to touch your face and do something because what if there's a problem and they get sued? So much of medical care isn't even performed and done for fear that a mistake is going to be made and you're going to get angry and sue. You know how much paperwork I had to fill out for them to operate on my face, go into my body, take a look at everything? Nothing. I just showed my ID, signed one piece of paper, and walked in and saw 6 different doctors and did all of this, remember, for $750. Top state of the art. Look, when I walked in, I hadn't eaten for 12 hours. After I gave my blood, they said, please now go into this room, sir. I opened up the door, and they're like, well, you haven't eaten in 12 hours. Please eat. I saw this sign catered by the JW Marriott Hotel and this massive buffet of food that went on and on and on with carving stations and chefs making all of this food included in the cost to feed you because I was hungry. They wanted you to be happy and stoked and excited to continue on with what was going to happen. And then during the last part of the dermatology, I asked for a cup of coffee. It was delivered on a wooden platter, and, to say thank you was just, they're beautiful how they say that. And they give you an amazing thank you, and how you say it is kapun kap. The men say kapun kap, and, like everyone's like this. And then the women say ka, so kapun ka. And you just feel this beauty and this warmth of the Thai society. And I think the Buddhism that's there in the country it's all about acceptance. So the philosophy that I learned there in everything was just acceptance. There isn't this fight. There isn't this tension. There isn't this somebody has to lose in order for you to win. This warmth, it changed a lot of the way I see things. When I say acceptance, I'm not talking about giving up. I'm not talking about, relinquishing. I'm just talking about the reality that we are in this present moment, accepting the things that you can change and the things that you just cannot change. And it was such a good lesson, even with this medical experience, because if something came down that you have, you got to accept whatever medical condition it is, and then you try and change it through whatever way they tell you to change. And one of the things is that I'm overweight, and I have to accept the fact that there are certain things I eat. I do not exercise. And I said, well, what am I going to do? I'm not exercising. What is your recommendation? And that's when they said, well, we're not done yet. I'm like, what? They said, you are scheduled with three days of a trainer that we've scheduled you with to help you solve this issue. I'm like, what? They're like, well, yes. So we now diagnosed your problem, which is you're overweight, and here is the solution. So they took me to Gun. This is a top trainer in Thailand, in Bangkok, that went to medical school, that I went through 3 days of mind-blowing training. I mean, training way beyond anything you would think of that would happen here in the U.S. It has nothing to do with the cover of some guy on Men's Fitness or some, other unbelievable body. It has nothing to do with that. It's taking the results of these tests and your lifestyle and training you in a way that will make you lose weight in a way that you're comfortable with. So we're not even talking about going to a gym here. It was all about stretching and all about breathing and all about doing training, weight training that you can do on your own without going into a gym and doing bench presses and all of these things. So it was about cardio and making sure that I'm sweating and exercising for 40 minutes at a time, 4 days a week. And the stretching was very important. So here I am doing these, doing these squats, which I've never done in my life. For me to go into a gym is like going to prison. It just the thought of it is so desperate for me. So I'm actually at a gym that they had, and I'm doing these squats, and it's just my muscles. These muscles have never been used in my entire life, and it's just so painful. But after 3 times, the way I could stretch, I was able to stretch so much more. And those muscles that are waking up and the oxygen you're breathing and the water you're drinking correlates with what they know will reduce my cholesterol levels and have my sugar level be normal. And I mean, that's so invaluable to be taught that, not just, go and lose weight, but actually being showed how to do it, but being showed in a way that's not, it's not all about vanity. It's not about, building those muscles and looking good. It's about what is realistic with your lifestyle. If you're not going to go into a gym, then this is what you have to do at your home or on the road. Or if you do go to a gym, this is what you need to do technique-wise, not just pumping, because you have to have certain techniques that burn fat off certain muscles more than other. And it was so fascinating to learn all of this for just that cost. I mean, it's just forget, like everybody says it was so cheap or so cheap. For me, it's like, wait a minute, the medical care I got was way better than any medical care I've ever had here in the United States. And it happens to be tens of thousands of dollars less. I mean, what is wrong with this picture? If I was a corporation here and I had many, many employees, I would send my top level employees to this hospital. I would pay personally to have them go to this hospital. I would give them a week off, pay for that, because I would care so much for my employee to know what they have. And the cost of that to the happiness quotient of where they are in their lives is so important. To think that you have employees that are going to bed at night who really do not know what's going on inside their body, and you have the ability to send that person and have that checked so it could be a condition that they know what's happening before it actually happens, and you have the power to do that and you're not doing it. I'm telling you right now, you are an unethical person. You have no business having employees knowing that that's going to happen, and going to bed at night knowing that you have the power to do something and you're not doing it. Shame on you. Just having people have, do they have medical insurance? So what now? I'm thinking, I have medical insurance. It has done nothing for me. It's about the way, using your smartness and using all of this worldwide knowledge to bring to you the truth on what's going on with all of this situation, all of the stuff that supposedly you're going to find out and make you feel good. I was speaking to one of my guests about this. I've spoken to about 7 people so far. I've made arrangements for all of them to go to this hospital. I've already made their arrangements. They're happy. One of the guests here says that he just gets a medical checkup every year. I'm like, what's that? He's like, well, they do my blood thing. They see, they check me up. They take my temperature. They take my heart thing. And then I get a bill for $3,000. I'm like, wow, $3,000. And I'm just thinking, what can I do? It's just another example of what exists outside the United States that's beneficial for you. Being in the food business, there's so many things I'm learning about on what you're eating, how it affects your body, all of the ways the United States has put in these triangles and are telling you that you have to eat 10 servings of this and 12 servings of that. Well, how much? I guarantee you, I don't even know what serving size they're talking about. What does that mean? 7 servings of a vegetable, 5 servings of meat and fish. And then there's bread on the bottom of this with rice. But what do? Do I just put the broccoli in 2 halves of bread? And I mean, what does that do? That doesn't do anything but sow confusion and make you so stressed out that you have to go see the Colonel, the King, and the Clown and eat all of that stuff because it tastes so good and it's comforting to you. But when you have doctors that really act like nutritionalists, where every step of the way they are explaining how food affects your lungs, how food affects the levels of salt and sugar and cholesterol in your blood, and what that does later on in life. I don't want to get all clogged up. Right now, my blood is very sticky. It has a lot of cholesterol in it because of the way the foods I were eating, and just New Orleans alone, the fried food I had there will basically, cause me so much concern. And what I need to do is, again, follow these rules for me, but also give you the opportunity to experience what I just did. And again, if you want to know anything more, what you can do is contact me, and it's just something that I would love to help each and every one of you do. Thank you for joining me today on Truth in Food. I'm John Robert Sutton. For more information about this program, please visit my website at suttonselects.com or follow me on social media at SuttonSelects. And to get a hold of me personally on this, you can email me at sutton@suttonselects.com.